Hey everyone, welcome back to Crypto Cash. Thank you so much again for joining me here. Hope you're having a great day. Let's take another look here at Solana, see what's going on. 184.35 for the moment. And we got this bearish rectangle from a macro perspective. Keep in mind that could still play out to the downside, but we're also kind of creating this, wedge within a wedge. It's like an inception trading scenario. If you're not familiar with the movie, don't worry about it. You're not missing too much, but on the same accord, there's always these references about a dream within a dream. In this case here, we're seeing a rectangle within a rectangle, so potential downside seems to be sensible here, but I want to recognize here that Solana's been doing really well in the last 24 hours, contrary to how Bitcoin's been behaving, right? You take a look at this chart, and you kind of look and see, you can see that we're going mostly sideways and up with creating higher lows and no higher highs yet. And Bitcoin, pretty much just straight struggle bus, just consistently lower lows and lower highs. So a lot of vaults are performing well, leading me to believe we're going to see a recovery for Solana and other coins too. But again, we got to kind of respect certain trends too as well. So we'll just discuss this here as we go along, look at some macro stuff, and also obviously take a quick, foundational understanding of where liquidation is accumulating here at this point. So if you're new to the channel, welcome aboard. Thanks so much again for watching me here. Hope you learned something today. Obviously, you want to become a better trader. CryptoCash.tech is a site linked down below. And what we're going to look at here first is the liquidation levels on the left-hand side. This is the last 12 hours, so it's kind of the closer proximity. We can see 188 is that upper range of liquidation between 186 and 188. So it would be sensible for us to get at least a little spike up here to get that liquidation level swept. And if we take a look at the macro, that's on the right. Technically, there's not a lot to see there, but we look at the last 7 days here. We can see roughly a similar scenario here, 188 to 190, even upwards about 193. Got a $500 million at 193. So there's quite a lot of liquidation on the upside. It would seem sensible, though, if Bitcoin can maintain its 94 to 95K range, that Solana will probably make a run towards the $200 range. Okay? And the main reason why that's relevant is because $200 is that key level support range, was a support. It's now a resistance. So it's kind of this upper rectangle range. This red line here is a very consistent number, 203, that goes way back, but also relevantly recent here. We can see that worked as a support before it broke down. So it's kind of where we're at there. Let's quickly recognize that the liquidation delta is still short heavy. So folks, there's no other way around it. People are, there's more people taking shorts than longs with Solana right now. But I would recommend not taking shorts today. In fact, a lot of me woke up this morning thinking, hey man, it might be a time to start taking some shorts. Bitcoin cannot seem to break its trend line. But as Bitcoin continues to go down, most alts are going sideways and up. So I'd be very, very cautious taking shorts with altcoins today. Unless Bitcoin runs towards 92K or to just say 90K, we're probably going to be in pretty good shape with most alts, including Solana. All right, open interest. Let's take a quick look here. This last 7 days. Pretty heavy concentration of open interest here at about 181 to 186. So folks are getting kind of heavy in this little range here. I'll admit I added to my bag at 180 and 185. And then if we take a look here, we can see 220, 217, and of course 203. So those are just kind of areas that people are heaviest, if you will, on their long or short positions. More so longs, of course, because open interest is usually where people are buying, not where they're selling. We take a look here to look at the weekly time frame and double check a few things. So first of all, the weekly, we're still over all moving averages here. This is very, very good sign. We haven't broken bearish at all. Granted, we've seen 5 or 6, roughly almost a full month's worth of divergence. I mean, we went from 264 down as low as about 175, and we're looking at about 33% correction in the last month's worth of trading. So that's not great. But at this point here, not terrible either. Let me tell you why. First of all, we're at 50 in the RSI. That's usually a common support range. We can see money flow index is trying to pivot and or increase. Stochastic's pulling back, and MACD is trying to diverge. So we're kind of on the edge of awesome and unfortunate, right? So in other words, awesome in the sense that we're holding the 20-day SMA. We can bounce off that level, the 50-day RSI rather. Then we'll be in pretty good shape, right? Now, keep in mind, these aren't just like magical lines in the sand here that are just going to prevent the price from going down. But the truth is, these are good little support ranges. Until they break, we want to presume they're going to continue. And is just kind of a good barometer of how, what the momentum is looking like. There's no doubt that with us diverging here, that we're going down. In the overall sense, we need a lot of volume and, of course, some good daily candlestick closures to get back on track. But at this point here, the weekly is neither bullish nor bearish. We're above some key level supports. To me, that's most important. Take a look here at the daily time frame. Similar scenario here in a way, just it's going to look a lot more bearish. And what I mean by that is, we're we're underneath the 20-day SMA, the 50. Those are two important indicators. We're still maintaining above the 200-day SMA though, which is right there at this 168 to 164 range. So I personally don't think we're going to see too much lower than that. We could even see the 160 range here. That was a previous high. I'll stretch this out a little bit so you can see. I actually have limit orders at like 161 for Solana, just to be safe in case we see a wick down there. I don't think that's going to I don't personally think it's going to happen unless we see the 80K range for Bitcoin. Okay, so 89, 88K or something like that. Yeah, probably see that for Solana. But Bitcoin can maintain its 93 to 92K range, and we're probably in pretty good shape. I've lost count as to how many times I've said, if Bitcoin can do X, Y, Z, Solana's going to do it just fine. It's unfortunate. That's just the market win right now. It's a pretty significant divergence, and Solana is, for the most part, following Bitcoin like a lost puppy. But the last couple of days here, specifically the last 24 hours, we've seen that shift, so to speak, for the moment. And we got to make sure to recognize that that's an important thing. Part of that is lying here in the fact that we're getting close to 30 on the RSI. We've been overextended for too long. Solana can only sell off for so long before people start buying. That's roughly where we're at. It's oversold. People are trying to buy. Money flow index pivoting off that 20 to 30 range. This is a perfect sweet spot in most cases to buy the dip. Again, I'm referring to a spot bag, folks. I'm not telling you to buy the dip with a 50x leverage long position with 100% of your portfolio. That is stupid. You never do that. Please don't ever do that. Again, I get a lot of people coming to my community that want to restore their portfolio because they've done that, and that's all well and good. I'm more than happy to try to help you moving forward, but I can't fix stupid. All right, it's stupid to do that. You should never use more than 5% of your total portfolio per trade ever, right? Even if you have a $100 portfolio and you're starting fresh, you got to learn, you got to work your way up. You don't destroy your account. And granted, some people have to learn that way, but it's just not the right way to learn. Learn from other people like myself that have been doing this for 20 plus years. And I've deleted a few accounts in the past. Granted, it's been quite a few years since I've done that. That was more so futures back in the day when I was trading crude oil and natural gas, and in more traditional markets. But I had a lot to learn, and apparently you do too, right? That's probably why you're watching. Anyways, conversation for another day. SMAs, we're underneath all of them here. If we zoom in, though, this is something that's potentially going to be a slight consolation here. If you see this descending trend, you can recognize, and this is probably a little easier to see when I make it this color. We are underneath the 20-day SMA for the moment. We've been under the 20-day SMA for a very long time, okay? So until we get above that, we're not in good shape, but the truth is we're getting close to that retest, and that's a good sign. So I'd say closing above 185, 186 today would be a pretty solid sign, because that'd put us right there at that level, okay? I'd much rather see 190 to 200 or higher, but again, 185 at the very least. We can't go lower. We can't close lower than we're at right now. That's just a simple way to understand it. We take a look here at the overall sentiment here. With the 4-hour, we're still in bearish, in bear town, if you will. We're under 50 on the RSI. We haven't broken bullish. There's very few coins that are exuding this behavior. I actually sent a long signal for my community here with BNB because it's showing a lot of strength. Okay, this is just an example, but what you want to look for is a break above 50 on the RSI and other contributing factors, and that's not present here for Solana just yet, okay? If tomorrow we see that, then it might be a good cause for consideration, but there's no other way around it. We're not looking phenomenal here. However, from a momentum standpoint, stochastic swinging up, MACD's been converging for the last 20 hours, so these are all favorable signs. The hourly is something also I want to show you too, because this is important to recognize. Look at this price action compared to Bitcoin. This is Bitcoin. Lower lows, lower highs, lower lows, lower highs. When's it going to end, right? This is Solana. Sideways action for a very long time. Okay, now you could argue this is a bearish rectangle again within a rectangle, right? The old inception trade, right? But with us bottoming out here at this 185 range and Bitcoin kind of going sideways and down, unless Bitcoin makes an aggressive move to the downside, Solana should start to recover. Okay, that's generally how most coins perform, regardless of their history or their backing. Ichimoku Cloud, we can confirm here we're still not breaking bullish. Again, still also reiterating the fact that we've been below the cloud for a very long time. Until we break above, we have no reason to take a long. So this pretty much says if in 24 hours we're at 185 or higher, we have a good consideration for a long. Okay. A lot of things are going to change between now and then, but hypothetically, that's what we're looking for. Same thing here as well. If the price goes up today and just kind of can hang out at 190 or higher, then that might be a good consideration for a long. Maybe with two entries, 185 and 190, right? Different things to consider, but averaging in and out of your position is usually a good call, at least in situations like this. But The overall situation here is that Solana hasn't broken bullish. It's just showing good smaller time frame behavior, which is indicative of potential reversals soon, right? Because again, a descending trend has to go range bound before it starts to break and make higher highs and higher lows. We're seeing some pretty significant range bound activity here. So the likely next step is to break this descending trend line to establish higher highs and higher lows and go up from here. Okay. Just know 200, 203, that range there, solid resistance level. So if you're going to take a long, ensure that you take profits somewhere in that range. It's not a bad profit margin. I mean, we're looking at a good 8 to 10% roughly between here and there. So you can get some decent profits between now and then. I just recommend maybe waiting a tiny bit longer, but if you're going to take a long position, you insist on it. Low leverage, low position size. That's all I ask, okay? That's going to be on my gravestone, I think. Low position size, low leverage. Other than that, last thing I can say is that I'm thankful for you. Deeply appreciate the awesome comments. Join us over at Bitunix too, folks. Take advantage of this deposit bonus before the month's over. $12,000 deposit bonus this month. Future reference, use my link to register. Every month moving forward, we're going to have trading competitions and deposit rewards, so it's really a no-brainer to use my link to register. Last but not least, I'll post a playout chart on our Twitter, Telegram, and Discord here soon, just so you can have that available for you. I look forward to working with you. Have a good rest of your day. Take care.